What's going on, guys? My name is Tyler, and today I have a very special show and tell moment for you. I think you guys have seen it on the channel before, but this is a custom, and the first custom that I've ever truly owned, I guess short of the Berg Blades Iron Wolf, which was his version before we got it. It was like a first 50 without the fuller that were his. Anyways, this is the Ray Laconico custom min pin. All right, guys, so the Ray Laconico custom min pin. You guys already know I am a Laconico fanboy, so when I had a chance to trade some things for this, we talked about it in the past, I did it. I was like, yes, 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 yes. And then I got it in hand, and I was very, very much underwhelmed. Why was I underwhelmed? Just because I couldn't even tell it was a custom. Like, it just felt like two titanium pieces put together. But the more I got to know it, I did not want to trade it. I did not want to use it as a leverage point until I came across somebody who had something really, really cool that I thought I would enjoy more. And this isn't to me what Ray Laconico is as far as like my favorite dude. This doesn't kind of epitomize the Geminis, the Centauris, and the Esprits. This is kind of like his own thing, which they're all his own thing. Anyways, let's get into this. So first and foremost, two titanium pieces right here. Very, very cool. That have some, it's like a stonewash blast finish. It doesn't look like stonewashing necessarily. There's some sort of blasting going on. Maybe like a light bead blast or something. I wouldn't call it vapor blast. You can almost see the texturing. Here he did some really cool drilling where he put these holes in here himself, obviously because it's a custom, and then he chamfered around the edges, which is cool. That being said, like you can kind of tell when you look at them, they're not all consistently chamfered at the same places. It's hard to kind of directly see. Now, that's not a knock on them. Again, this is a custom knife. This is done by hand rather than done by machine. Therefore, coming out, with some imperfections. And I guess before you get into the custom territory, you forget that, right? You see these things and you're like, oh, what? This was $600. Oh, right? That's kind of where I'm leading with this, and we'll have this as a whole discussion. But this does have a Timascus back clip, pocket clip, and Timascus backspacer, which are both really, really gorgeous. They're gorgeously done. The fit and finish on these is stupid, like very, very well done. You can't even feel the seams. Yeah, very cool. They have screws that go just through one side, so this is just held on by these two screws. These are T8 Torx screws, and we have a T8 pivot. And before I speak too soon, I've been wrong before, so let's check these. Why am I finding T9s everywhere? I'm finding T9 screws literally everywhere. It's crazy. Yeah, so those are T9. That's nuts. And I'm guessing this pivot's going to be a T. Oh, this pivot fits a T9 too. Is this not really a T? Oh, yeah, it's a free spinning pivot apparently. Is this not really a T9? Is this T8 that I just have in the T9s? No, it's a T9. Damn. That's crazy. These are all T9 screws. At least they're all the same, so that's cool. As you guys can tell, it was a free spinning pivot. There is no lockup issues, though. This is coming in just fine. No lockup. It does not go back and forth. It does not go up and down. It's very nice. And the action for being such a small blade is working itself in really, really well. The flipper tab is rather pointy, so you can push button it, but you're not going to get too much of a light switch on it because it wants to roll down. Like, you kind of roll off when you do it, kind of hurts. The push button makes way more sense to me and feels so much better. So as we go through here, we do have some scalloping so you can attack that liner. Yes, it's a little close, but you kind of get your meteor thumb in there and it works just fine. And then on this side, we have your lock bar relief, which is just fine, no major issues. And overall, there's some micro chamfering it looks like going around too. It's like super, super light going here. This is slightly contoured, but nothing too crazy. Obviously, there's no cutouts inside because the cutouts are coming on through here. This is actually a stop pin that goes in there. It's kind of cool. The stop pin's on the other side of this one. And it's hard to tell, but you cannot see the stop pin moving with the blade, which tells you there's a cutout in the blade, but the stop pin is mounted right there. So that's kind of where it goes through there. That's nice. It's cool. It's different. That's what makes it fun. There is no hardened insert. You would like to think that this is like carbonized titanium, but I'm not entirely sure. I can't tell. There's no discoloring, but I can tell you there's no lock stick and there's no lock rock or anything of that nature. Is this a choke up point? Nope. There is no sharpening choil. The plunge grind is done, fine. It's hard to judge a plunge grind when there's no sharpening choil. You're like, okay. Very nice satin finish with this kind of harpoon clip point style blade. As you can tell, the edge is very, very nicely done. I don't think it has been sharpened by anybody else. I think that's how it comes. And ergonomically, it's not awful. It is basically a 3-finger knife, but due to the way this is rounded, I can get 4 fingers. But when you get 4 fingers and bear down, I could definitely feel this pocket clip. This knife is just too small for a full grip. That being said, one of the reasons I almost kept this, I started to kind of fall in love with like the ability to really choke up and do stuff like this, and the reality that most of what we do is a simple done, done, right? With those sound effects added for dramatic effect. Point being is I don't need anything large. I don't need anything with the stupid ergonomic grip. And if you do, like, this is kind of where I'm leaning, although I could never probably do this to myself. I want a bunch of knives like this that aren't the most ergonomic friendly, but they're really nice and easy to carry. And then I want like 2 ergonomic monsters that you just take outside and beat the hell out of whenever you got to. That's kind of like, in my opinion, if you were going to make a pairing, that's probably where you should land. Anyways. Off topic, we do have a Swedge that kind of comes down this clip point. It looks gorgeous, very well done, and very symmetrically done by comparison of, custom versus production. We do have a hollow grind coming down here like that. Now, that hollow grind is one of the differences between Monterey Bay Knives min pins and Ray Laconico's min pins. I believe Monterey Bay is a flat grind. Don't quote me. I'm fairly certain that that's the case. Let's see, what else was there? There's a couple other differences. Excuse the snorting if I don't chop it out. I think it has something to do with the pin there. And there's just like 1 or 2 other differences. Now, we'll save this discussion for afterwards. All right, let's get into some specs. This blade is XHP, by the way, which is really cool. I like that about it. Overall weight coming in at a whopping 84. What the fudge is that? 2.97 ounces. All right. Freaking drunk scale. Go home. So it's relatively light, 2.97 ounces. 84. 84 what? I was like, what kind of measuring units are these? Freaking grams? Get out of here, dude. All right, so this is coming in at 6 3/4 inches. And then let's see your blade stock. Show me your blade stock. Our Laconico on the blade right there. The overall blade stock, relatively thick. What the shit? Obnoxiously thick, coming in at 160 thousandths. The behind the edge. Wow, that's impressive. So the blade stock's 160 thousandths, but the behind the edge is like 15 for such a small blade. That's really impressive, actually. This is my first time taking that measurement, so that's kind of, I guess, something. And towards the tip, it does get bigger. It's around 20, 25 thousandths. But that's kind of, I guess, what you get with a custom, right? You get these really cool, drop. It's super aggressive hollow grind. That makes this thing, it's going to be ultra slicey in that belly, really. Let's try to do this nice and safe. Overall thickness coming in at 0.44-ish. Not going to go too hard on it so I don't scratch nothing. And then overall height at its maximum point coming in still a whopping 1.05, right around 1 inch tall at its maximum point. Gonna be a dream to carry, guys. Now, that blade stock, that's cool. And it's carrying that strength all the way out to the tip due to the Swedge right here. It doesn't look like it, but it's got the strength of that, and it's XHP above all else, so it's gonna be kind of sturdy, you know. It's not the most tough steel, but it's gonna be more tough than M390 and stuff like that, right? I think. So that's cool. Those dimensions are kind of what make it fun for me as a custom. Now, is it worth the custom price? Nope, but whatever. All right, so let's get you guys some size comparisons. You know, I try to pick out relative size comparisons to this. So if you guys are interested in this knife, this is going to give you guys some idea. Now, these are just your conventionals, your Rat 1 and Rat 2. Obviously, even your Rat 2 is longer than this. But what I wanted to do was pick out some relatively conventional things that are a little bit easier to obtain so that the comparison of these makes a little bit more sense. Here is your Civivi Elementum and your SOG Terminus. Both of these knives are slightly larger, but not by much. As you can see, they're all within the same ballpark. And I should say SOG Terminus XLC, something like that. Here is your Para 3, obviously going to be much larger. Get your Strida ass in there. And this one, which is a totally different profile, but same generic length, that is your Berg Blade Slim. Ooh. Oh, I love this guy. Here, let's just do a total off topic on this one. Go on. Show him what you're not doing it today. What, do you not want to freaking show off? Hold on. He doesn't want to show out. Give him a second. This is easily like the smoothest knife that I own. I have to shake it shut. Most days I don't have to shake it shut. He's just pissed off that I haven't warmed him up today. Oh, gosh. And my QSP Legatus is ultra smooth, too. All right. Yeah, side note, you guys are like ADD to the end. All right. See? Didn't even finish that statement. That wasn't intentional. All right, so here is your Wee Esprit, another Laconico design, and your Benchmade Bug Out. This profile is actually probably, I would say, very similar to your Benchmade Bug Out. The cutting edge is probably that of your Bug Out Mini, if I had to guess. This is probably a knife that's relatively close to your Mini Bug Out, despite being a little bit heavier with the titanium. This is your Kaiser Guru, probably one of my favorites as far as useful Kaiser knives. Function over everything else. And here is your QSP Penguin. Now, out of all the knives that I have shown you, despite it having a different blade shape, you are getting titanium, you are getting CPM 154, which, is it 154 CM? I always get these mixed up. 154 CM, which most people actually prefer over CPM 154. Now, same size, probably close to the same weight, probably more fun action with the Penguin, in my opinion. Titanium, a little less stuff. This is just sub $100, while this is coming in at a whopping like $600. That you can't find it unless you're on the aftermarket, right? This did a raffle for $600. I traded basically a Sabenza and some money for this. That's how much value this guy has. What I'm saying is, this is probably my pick as far as budget replacement if you're that interested in the Ray Laconico Min Pin. I think the Penguin is probably the closest budget pick, and fantastic. If you guys don't have the Penguin, you should. It's just so good. Okay, let's talk about this here guy. So first, like I said, to access the lock bar is really nice. Once you find it, the areas of this thing smooth, like just fidget factor, is really, really good. And it does have this kind of like, when you get it nice and when you flick it nice, this has like a resonance to it all through here, probably due to these holes that are milled out. So that gives a little bit of satisfaction there too. Ergonomically, as I said, not the greatest. You can get 4 fingers, but you're not going to hard use this thing. Now on the other side, this is a relatively thick blade stock, so you might be able to get away with some prying with how thick this freaking blade, I mean, it's that thick. Guys, it's carrying most of that all the way down. So you're going to get a lot of that, and you are getting some really strong slicing power towards the belly of the knife. All right, sorry about that. Lost my train of thought a little bit. Had a little one crying that we had to go jump in the mix of. So I believe I was talking about ergonomics. The ergonomics aren't the best. It is what it is. But you are getting, that's what I was talking about. You're getting some prying power out of this if you wanted to, and having a lot of slicing power due to this aggressive hollow grind. So that's very cool. This thing does kind of grow on you, and once you have a reality check about what you use your knives for, I liked this a lot better because it does address the puncture task. It does address the slicey tasks. You could pry with it should you dare, and there's a lot that goes into this. What I was going to tell you guys, though, is when I got this in hand, it took about 3 days for me to believe this was a custom. I had to get Monterey Bay Knives to take a look at it. And they're like, oh, that's Ray's knife because of X, Y, and Z. They know the differences. There's certain subtle differences that they know about each knife. So that being said, it's kind of like, you know what sucks? Is getting a custom in your hand and having to ask somebody who makes the production knife if this is a production or custom. Just that sucks, right? So that feeling of not knowing, it didn't have any of the paperwork with it. It didn't have, and so I took a bunch of pictures and showed it to him, and that's how he knew. But that sucks, you know? I expected to get a custom in my hand and be like, I have the power, right? You're like, oh God, this is it. And Ray Laconico being like, yes, right? You don't get that feeling out of it. Some people get a feeling out of collecting unique stuff. I think you're going to get that more unique feel out of this and the pride of ownership rather than getting it in hand of being like I said, I have the power. I don't think you guys get that feeling from this, or I didn't. And like I said, it sucks to have to go back and ask, is this really a custom? Like, did I get ripped off? Like that, you have to ask that question, right? And I verified it and everything, but so that's what sucks. You know, you can get a min pin from Monterey Bay Knives for like $200 whenever they're available, if they ever are again. Or you can buy this for $600 from Ray Laconico. It's kind of like who done it better. It's like there's not much difference other than some subtle differences that really you're paying for his handiwork rather than a production lineup. And while I know that means something to some, as a reviewer, I can't be like, that means a lot to me, because it's not a value piece to me. Like, if he did some real intricate shit here, right, by hand, I would be like, oh, right? And there's some good stuff, right? This blade has a lot going on. It's good. This side, there's not much going on, but I'm sure the finish and stuff took some work. And then this side, these, I'm sure took some work to kind of get as symmetrical and nice looking as possible. But that's it. Like, there's nothing super intricate about this otherwise. So, yeah, the long story short, I love this knife. I think it's fantastic, but it's not worth, to me, $600. Kind of like the Marfione custom Troodon that I had wasn't worth $1,300 in hand. That's how I feel about this. I think it's awesome. To me, I just don't see the value. And maybe I'll never see the value in custom work after seeing those two. Maybe that's kind of where it goes, which maybe that discredits me as a reviewer, maybe not. I don't know. I just don't. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the comments below if you made it to this point, if that makes sense to you. It's kind of a little story, right? I did a little story of my last one. With the Marfione custom Troodon, right? I talked myself into carrying that. I carried it at work in the mill, and I'm like, dude, I'm just going to use this. Fuck it. That'd be cool to have a knife that's $1,300 in your pocket. What sucks about that is that I had a knife that was $1,300 in my pocket that I didn't value for more than $350. So if you don't do anything with that extra $1,000, you're wasting it. And that's why I traded it. That's why I had it in my mind that I can't keep this, is that I was wasting that value, and that value was wasted on me. If that's a better way to put it. That value was wasted on me. I didn't get that out of it. So that's why I ended up trading it and giving somebody else that value. All right. That is all I got for you guys today. This is the the Ray Laconico Min Pin Custom. Very cool knife. You could tell there's just a lot that he did to it, and I'm sure this was not easy to make, so please, this isn't me discrediting the work. It's just me being honest about the value of a custom piece versus a production piece, which I think most people can attest to, even if you're not delusional about, or even if you're a custom maker. I think you can kind of attest to the custom work versus production work, you're definitely getting more bang for your buck out of the production side. You just have to appreciate certain things about the custom side if that's the side that you're into. Oh, wow. Talk about a mind screw up. Sorry about all that. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp. Stay safe. Have a great freaking rest of your day, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, guys, if you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and or leave a comment. The whole reason this channel was created was to interact with you guys and just share the love of knives. So until next time, you guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking rest of your day. Thanks for watching.